Thank you for joining us for the breakout session, 10 Objectives Every Successful Agency Practices. Our presenter is Kelly Donahue-Pirro of Agency Performance Partners. Over the last decade, Kelly has helped hundreds of small businesses manage their organizations and market their products and services better. In 2014, Kelly created Agency Performance Partners to deliver growth and cutting-edge management strategies to insurance agencies around the country. An accomplished and dynamic public speaker, Kelly helps educate businesses on the needs of today's and tomorrow's increasingly social consumer and how current and incoming generations of employees can best respond to them. Please help me welcome Kelly Donahue-Pirro.
We're on. Everyone can hear me. I've never been accused of having an indoor voice, so hopefully we can keep you guys all awake. I hope you all enjoyed the barbecue at lunch, right? Was that good? That was pretty awesome. Now here's the problem. The afternoon lunch slump could become a real thing if we're not careful. So hopefully you guys kind of counterbalance that with some of the sweet tea out there. So I'm Kelly Donahue-Pirro. I'm going to do a little handout here, so if you guys on each side can just take one and start passing it around. The entire presentation I'm going to give today is downloadable. So if you take this little postcard, you can hop on our website, download it. We also have some specials, some offers for you guys, but we got a lot to cover, not a lot of time, if you know what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to introduce you to myself first of all, because I don't know a lot of you guys. I'm from the tiny, teeny little state of Rhode Island. You guys ever hear of that little state? Itty bitty. But I actually got into insurance when I was 18 years old. So how many of you guys in insurance in this room thought that you were going to grow up and be an insurance agent? Nobody. Insurance has a way of finding you somehow, some way. And once you get in, it's like the mob. You can never leave again. You can try. It's in your blood and you're stuck. So I was actually a bank teller at 18 years old, working my way through college. I had 3 jobs in college because I decided to go to a school that was $50,000 a year. Like I knew what $50,000 a year was at 17, right? And what had happened was, I needed to make extra money, and so the bank had incentive programs that to tee up opportunities for the auto loan company or the auto loan department, the mortgage department, the insurance department. What I decided to do, being industrious and in college and fearless, remember those days when you couldn't see any challenges, like you had to get burned 17 times to figure out you shouldn't do something? I decided to place my station next to the top seller. Top seller. And I thought to myself, well, she's making a lot of bonus money. She's a single mom. I'm a college kid. I need to learn. And so slowly but surely I worked my way up to be the top teller that referred any product that they had an incentive to. I just got really good at asking, got really good at talk tracks, right? Got recruited into the bank, kept going, the career kept going on and on, got recruited, did stuff, and then a couple years ago started my own company. So, what had to happen was when I graduated college, while I had a job, I had about $180,000 in student loan debt too, right? So I learned the most powerful thing about insurance was that I had the ability to make as much as I wanted, and if I worked hard, it paid me back, right? That's one of the cool parts about this industry. So that's my story. I want to give you a little bit more personal story too. That little critter up there, that's my adorable dog, Roxy. And I love her. She's 13, and I did the right thing when I adopted her. I called my insurance agent. I was like, got a dog, doing the right thing. Yeah. Apparently Shar-Peis are on some dogs' no-no lists. And didn't know that. So Roxy has costed me a lot in carpet cleaning and also insurance. That's my husband down there. We've been married for over 5 years now. He's a contractor, so I understand the woes of workers' comp very intimately. And that's my grandfather. He's kind of the mentor of my life. He lived to be 90 years old. He passed away about a year ago, but true story. He was a veteran, and he was in the Battle of the Bulge. And what happened was they did not have an American flag because they were very low on supplies. So him and his crew actually made an American flag out of scraps. And it's hanging in a museum, and I'm very proud of that. So here's what we're going to do. All of you guys have your cell phones handy, right? Because we don't go anywhere without these glowing boxes, right? I know they were told to turn them off. Well, we never do that. Not even on airplanes. For anybody who decides to follow us on Twitter, which you can do, well, there's my team, by the way. They're pretty cool. I'll get to the slide where you can follow us on Twitter, but it's KL Donahue, at KL Donahue. And if you follow us on Twitter during this presentation, we'll donate $5 to Stand Down, which is an organization that helps veterans that are at risk for suicide. So I think that that's a pretty good session. If you take a picture of us and either put it on Facebook or on Twitter, we'll donate an additional $10. So we're going to do some good stuff here today. But let's talk about our ground rules, because we got to talk about insurance now. We're going to have fun today, seriously. So for any of you who remembers high school chemistry? Who remembers what you learned in high school chemistry? No. Oh, I need to learn from you then. I don't. I didn't have fun in high school chemistry, barely passed it. What I learned is that when we're having fun, we learn more, right? So, I mean, how great was Obby today, right? Wasn't he amazing? Because you learned something because he kept you entertained. So we're going to have fun. If you don't have fun and learn something new today, I'll quit my job and I'll go home and hang out with my dog, Roxy. And the agency that I was going to torture next week in Colorado, well, they'll just have to suffer. But today's about you. So to kind of keep the social media to a minimum, after you tag and post and like me, then we'll just pay attention. Take notes if you need them. But today's really about you, so let's make it happen. Also, I also understand that I'm one of the only things holding you up from happy hour. So if you sit in my next session, I will really be holding you up from happy hour, but hopefully I'm a nice appetizer to happy hour. So what are the 10 objectives that every successful agency needs to follow? The first objective we have to do is we have to have routine work and development of your agency culture. Abhi talked a little bit about that today, right? What does your agency culture look like? Now, I have the pleasure of going into 700 agencies across this fine country, coast to coast. I'm on an airplane every single week, okay? Been to all sorts of little ones, big ones, 350-person ones, all sorts. And do you know what the one thing that I find is? The one driving force for success is an agency culture. And I can tell, and the marketing reps will know this, if you have any marketing reps in the room, within 5 minutes of being in an agency, what the deal is. You feel it. The phone rings. Another phone call. What? They're our customers. We should want that. And then you look at this, right? So this is Preferred Insurance Agency. They're in Coldwater, Ohio. They're a customer of ours. You can read their case study on our website. Imagine going out into a field with your entire agency wearing pink shirts. How many agency owners think that they could get their team to do that? Good. We got a couple. So you know that if that's the case, you want to have a good culture, because here's the thing. All those people up there are brand ambassadors for you. And so if we have to compete against the Lemonades of the world, right, our biggest opportunity is to turn every employee into brand ambassadors. I personally have 1,700 Facebook friends. To me, that's 1,700 opportunities. If I go tell them all I sell insurance. But we have to have a cool culture. So how do we do that? First things first, we got to make insurance fun. Because we all agreed nobody thought we were going to be insurance agents when we grew up. It's not exactly the sexiest of job descriptions. My mom still has no idea what I do. She's like, what is that thing you do? You sell insurance? I'm like, sorta, don't worry about it. I gotta make insurance fun. You know what, here's the thing. You know what else I don't like? I don't like my dentist. I don't like going to the dentist. But you know what I like? I like my dentist. I think my dentist is cool, so hey, if I had to get my teeth cleaned, at least I'm gonna laugh a little bit. And he puts a picture on the ceiling of the beach. Works, right? There's other things in life we don't think are fun. Getting an oil change, who thinks that that's fun? No. But my oil change place puts peanut M&Ms in my glove compartment box, or the little cup. Do I think that that's fun? Yes. Does my Fitbit think it's fun? No. So you gotta make insurance fun. So how do we make insurance fun? Like, what do we do to make insurance cool and fun? We gotta start by thinking it's cool and fun. Like, we look at our own industry with like, How many of you love paying your insurance premiums personally? Yeah, I have 15 policies. I pay in full. I basically stroke off like an entire month in Italy. Here we go, insurance, yay. You gotta make insurance fun. But you know how you make insurance fun? It's about the people, right? It's about protecting the things that people love the most. So when my husband has a second wife, which is a blue Mustang with a roll cage in it, race car, for those of you who might be from Haggerty, it has been dropped from you at least once or twice. You guys were not a fan of the roll cage. Apparently that exited out of the ballpark altogether. You know, if you get talking to him about insurance, what do you think is going to happen to him? You get talking to him about how fast his car is? Bingo. We have to talk about the things that people love. That's what they're buying your product for, is to protect the things they love. When we make it about, rates, this process, the management system, or slow technology, we start bringing that down. How about in your agency having a daily happy hour? Now, I used to do this. I managed 20 people. We started at 8 a.m. 8 o'clock in the morning, we'd gather up, standing meeting. Everybody had to share one success they had from the day before. Now, two things. It decreased people being late dramatically. Now you're walking into a meeting. The other thing is, it was a fireable offense if you could not tell me one good thing you did the day before. You got one pass a year. Because if you can't find one thing in 8 hours that you found to be awesome, exceptional, ridiculously amazing, why are you on my team? It could be that I didn't kill my coworker. I didn't really care at that point, but you want to celebrate success, because so often in insurance, we talk about the worst things. We talk, oh, the rates are going up. This customer's upset. We lost another customer. We don't talk about all the awesome things like so-and-so had a baby. We just got another commercial account. I was at an agency in Raleigh-Durham yesterday, a new client of mine, and literally, we had an argument. Not really an argument, but the team was there together, and I said, you got to celebrate success. When you sell a piece of insurance, what happens in an agency? Well, I get signatures, and I bind it. Okay. How about we ring a bell, right? How about we go and put it on a board that says, welcome to our family? How about we send an email to the entire staff that said, please welcome to our family, XYZ? Because if you're in a small community, you know what? You probably have visited that restaurant. You probably have gone to that location. Yet might be your kid's competing soccer team coach that we just sold. Well, we don't do anything. Instead, we just it's in a report that we run sometimes, and it just goes into ho-hum land. We can't do that. You got to celebrate the successes and the wins, but first of all, we have to define them. How many agencies have goals? Clearly defined goals. That's great. How many of you repeat them to yourselves every week? That's how you get there, right? When you have goals and they stick in a closet, I love it. I'll talk to agency owners. I got goals. Does anybody know about them? No. They're like in me. It's like an estimate. But we got to celebrate the successes and wins, because oftentimes in agencies, we win more than we think. We just don't have it clearly outlined of what we're trying to achieve. So, Tiggers and Eeyores, right? This is one of the things in my company that I've always been sort of astounded by. We have this thing called Tiggers and Eeyores, and you guys know it, Winnie the Pooh, right? And it goes over revolutionary in every agency that we go to. So everybody knows an Eeyore, right? Let me tell you what Eeyore sounds like in insurance. Oh no, the rates are going up again. Oh no, the agency owner wants me to account round. Oh, here we go. So-and-so's on vacation this week. I'm going to be so busy. Oh no, I gotta cover the front desk. I don't know why phones and insurance are such a hard thing to pick up. It's like a big deal. So you got that, right? But then you got Tiggers who are like, hey, I think we could do this great social media campaign. Wouldn't it be awesome? What if we all get in a picture and we do this and we go down the town hall and we go into blah, blah, blah. And then I sold this policy and then I sold 2 more and I got 3 referrals and everything's great. And right? But the problem is we need to be Tiggers and reject the Eeyores. And the big thing is if you go into an agency or in any business in America, that there is somebody that you pay, they are on payroll, and you hope to not talk to them today, that is a problem. You are literally giving someone tens of thousands of dollars a year to hope you don't have to interact with them because they suck the living life out of you. We all have had one. I've had one, you know, and then all of a sudden, but you feel like a hostage. So oftentimes they are the most insurance smart person on the staff. They are technically superior, right? They know insurance like an encyclopedia. Sometimes you think they know more than you about insurance. We keep them on payroll because of that. But they drain everybody, and we have no energy. Then all of a sudden we're surrounding by, and those Eeyores start bringing everybody to that side, right? So we got to look at that. We got to get back to the team in your community. I am a firm believer that every agency needs an incentive plan, a performance-based pay plan for their team. I don't care if it's commission, if it's hitting a goal, everybody needs performance-based pay. And you only pay it if you hit the performance goal, okay? There's no like, well, they came close. You're paying them to be extraordinary. They make their base salary to do the job. The bonus is for extraordinary performance. Extraordinary, not just doing the job. And you have to get back to your community. And the funny thing is that so many agencies do so much for their community and no one knows about it. One of our premier services that we offer is an agency assessment, and we ask, what do you do in your community? It's amazing how many people know. Like, I think we gave to the Boys and Girls Club. In the meantime, you look at the owner's operating expenses, and it's like they gave away half their fortune to community events, but no one knows about it. You gotta tell people, and that's what social media helps with. Here's the biggest one though. All this comes together when you, the leader, has passion. If you walk into your agency all day half asleep, guess what? Your team will go even less awake. You have to be excited about selling insurance. You have to be excited about keeping your customers. You have to want to go out and sell new policies. You have to be looking for the top talent. And by the way, that is the truth of any business in America today. The problem is in insurance, we have this renewable income. So sometimes we just get to a plateau and we want to coast. But when we coast, we have a problem. Because slowly but surely we get chipped away at. And we stop investing in technology. We stop looking at Twitter. We stop going ahead and saying, how could we be faster? How could we be better? And then the lemonades of the world come at us. And the direct writers come at us. You guys do realize that in insurance, if I got my renewal in the mail, let me tell you what happens in personal lines. I get my renewal in the mail. It's in a Travelers envelope. I've got Travelers. Any Travelers reps in here? Hi, Travelers. I pay in time. No claims. I get my insurance renewal in the mail, and then what happens? It's gone up. Right? It goes up every year. I have to have a drink in order to open it, because I don't know what's in it. When I open it, I'm like, oh, look, it went up. Then my husband comes home, and maybe he was working late, and now he's hangry, right? That's a real thing, at least for my 100% Italian husband. Hanger is an issue in our marriage. Got to feed him routinely. And then he's looking at it like, it went up, what the heck? What the heck? We got to go do something. He gets all spicy. I calm him down, so I'll call the agent in the morning. We go and we sit down, we watch The Voice. What happens every 15 minutes? Commercial. What do I never have more than 6 inches from me? And I have my deck page, right? So I can pop it in and I get a quote. And it's crappy coverage. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't know that because I do whatever. I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher, I'm a, an assistant. I don't know. I'm not an insurance person, so I don't know what 2040 is. I don't know what 250-500 is. I don't know. So then as soon as I submit that, what do you think happens? I get calls, emails, text messages from whoever I submitted that quote to. All before your office even opened up. And you know what? They're not going to make one call and then say, oh, I called, I tried. They're going to relentlessly pursue me until I submit and give them my policies. Because they have automation and they've invested in a system. So you guys in the room have to figure out how to compete with that. What happens when someone in your book shops at 11 o'clock at night? Because here's the record news. 33% of consumers shop their auto insurance every year. Not like every year continuously, but in the whole wide book of auto insurance, 33% of people shop this year. A third of your book. I can't stop them from shopping, but we have to have an awesome culture. When people call in, they're excited. You, the leader, has passion to fix that. Say, you don't need to shop, shop us, call me. Call me first. We can't just sit there and let the whole thing go away, right? So we have to have an awesome agency culture. And when you go into it, it's hard to explain culture, let me be honest. Like, it's kind of like explaining being in love. How do you explain that to somebody, right? Oh, I'm in love. This feels great. But if you've never been in love, you don't get it? That's how to explain how an awesome culture is. So if you find an agency with an awesome culture, ask them to come see it. I'll set you, email me, I will set you up. Get on an airplane. They will let you in with open arms, and they'll tell you how it changes everything. So next, forever recruiting. Did we miss a slide here? Oh, maybe we didn't. Okay, forever recruiting. Whose number one challenge in their agency is finding the best people? Oh, come on. Yeah, it's my biggest challenge too, for the record. You know how hard it is to tell somebody, hey, great news. You have the opportunity to make 6 figures, but you're going to be on an airplane every week and missing your family to talk to insurance agents. How do you feel about that? Can I work from home? Here's the problem. In insurance, the best people are not readily available. They're not searching for jobs. The best people are locked down. They're paid well, they have what they want, they probably have a little authority, and they're loyal to their agency owner. They actually love their clients, and they don't want to leave their customers on top of it all. The only time that they move is when there's disruption. The agency was bought, somebody retired, something changed that they didn't like. You need to be at every networking event, every carrier meeting to find the best people. Because the best people are not going to be available. And by the way, if the best person ever did get laid off, you know what they're going to do? Call the 5 people that they know. They're not going to go out on the street. They're not going to go find, go everywhere and try to put themselves out there. They know. By the way, that's like true for everything, not just insurance. I have never, ever, ever since college had to look for a job. I either got recruited out, or if something was going on, I knew exactly who to call. So if you want to find the best people, you got to be everywhere and tell people, I'm looking, I want to have lunch with you, I want to have coffee. And it might take 2 years. But that best person on your team changes everything. It frees you up to really run the business. The market changes, you need to capitalize on it. As things change, you need to be ready and be prepared. Sometimes you don't have the budget for the next hire, you got to find it. Got to find it. People are your biggest investment. The biggest amount of money your agency spends is in payroll, right? If you're spending more money on something else, let me know, that's cool. But most people, it's payroll. You gotta be prepared in case someone leaves. And the biggest advice on people, guys, is hiring out of preparation, not desperation. When you hire out of desperation, your judgment is clouded. You're not thinking about finding the best person, you're thinking about finding a warm body to answer the phone. You're thinking about what happens if somebody needs an auto ID card. You're thinking about walking in and telling your staff who's gonna be like, more work. Can't do it. Hire out of preparation, not desperation. Ooh. Something's going on with our slides here. Next, consistent meetings. So in order to have an organization that's really well run, you have to meet weekly, okay? You can't just meet sometimes. And I love this. When's the last time you had a meeting? The problem is most meetings suck. For lack of a better word, right? Oh, meeting. And you as the agency, the person running the meeting's got to come up with an agenda. And then when you start having meetings, people start complaining about stuff, right? It doesn't become productive. It becomes just, oh, I don't want to go to the meeting. So we have to have consistent meetings. But when we have meetings, we recommend a very simple agenda. I meet with both my companies, I have 2 companies, every week. And we meet for no more than 30 minutes. Some people are virtual, we call in. And it's actually, the staff says it's the best time. They love having it. They don't want to miss it. First thing you start is, what's one success everyone had for the week and what's one lesson they learned? So it's not a failure, right? It's a lesson. What did we learn this week? Because if I've got 11 people on a conference call, I want 11 people sharing one thing that they learned so that the other 10 people don't do it too, right? So what's one lesson? And it's amazing what people say. It's amazing the development you see from people when they have to think like that. Then you go over your metrics. I know Abhi said this a lot too, is you got to know your metrics. I mean, I could get on a soapbox about insurance technology, and I could railroad the entire rest of the session. Okay, there's 2 challenges with insurance technology. One, we do not maximize it, and we blame the insurance technology provider. We don't maximize our systems. We don't ensure data integrity. A dirty little secret in insurance is one of our jobs is to create a killer database. You don't need to have a producer that goes out and has a phone book and looks for leads. You have a lead list in your database. You've got lost customers, you've got old unsold quotes. But the problem is getting it out of there and having it be clean. So when agencies say we need more leads, I say, don't even spend a penny. Let's call these people. But we have to maximize our technology today. And so few of us maximize our management system, and then we go buy other stuff to fill in the gaps because we think that it can do this cool thing. And then we don't do that real well. Maximize what you have. But you can get retention out of any management system. You can get closing ratio out of any management system. You can get your new business out of any management system. But when you run those reports, you don't trust the numbers, right? You don't trust the numbers because the data's in there wrong. Rewrites are cluttered up. That doesn't make sense. This person's assigned to the wrong account. When you make the commitment to cleaning up your data, it frees you dramatically. I have a whole full-time data management person on my staff. All they do is log into management systems, run reports, and we clean up data for agencies. That is someone's job. Now, we teach you how to clean it up so you don't fix that, but I can spit out reports that now help us run the agency. You go over stumbling blocks. What's the goals for this week, and what are the things that we may trip up on? Oh, I got a doctor's appointment, so-and-so's out. I'm waiting on X. And for me as the agent or the leader of the team, I can then go and say, great, I'm going to clear out these stumbling blocks for you. That's what I spend my hour after the meeting, working on clearing out my team's stumbling blocks. Because I'm not missing a deadline because of something silly or something I learned about last minute. Then we do what's called the one-word close. People don't like this, but that's okay. The one-word close means what's one thing, how are you feeling right now after this meeting? Because sometimes we have to talk about controversial things in meetings, right? Like I was on a sales meeting that we run for an agency in Houston, really great agency. And we had to deal with the fact that we were going to claw back money for them if they didn't get to a lead within 24 hours. They were going to have $50 taken off their commission for every lead that didn't get a quote in 24 hours. You want to talk about screwing with salespeople's money? You want to have 20 salespeople on a video conference call and you get to deliver that information? The one-word closes were not pretty. But everyone got the message at the end of the day that an agency is spending almost $200,000 on lead generation and the agents are not respecting the leads. As the agency owner, what are you going to do? I'm not going to spend $200,000 generating leads that get burned up. You've got to focus on working as a team and staying focused on a goal. So for some reason, when we gave them our slides, they're a little jumbled up, so I apologize. Leadership. This is one of our clients in New London, Connecticut. I love telling this story because Donna's one of my favorite people. She's in the middle. Donna actually had her children very young. She was a teenage mom. And when she had the kids, they had no money growing up. She had her first child and sent her husband to work a half hour later because they needed the money. Tough woman, right? Well, once her kids got into school, she went to work as a receptionist in an insurance agency. She worked her way up from receptionist to CSR, to producer, to operations manager, to owning the agency. She now has almost a $20 million agency in Connecticut. Pretty cool, right? But there's no job in that agency that she can't do. So people don't get away with murder, right? She knows exactly what they have to do. And those are her two daughters that are in line to take over the agency. But she leads a strong ship, you know? You don't get to be that level without having a vision, without being able to execute on it. She's won AMS awards. She's pretty cool. So strong centralized leadership. There must be a leader at the top that's leading the ship. This goes back to your passionate leader. It's got to be someone that's setting the course. If you have no vision and you are stuck being a producer as the agency owner, your agency's not going to go very far. You have to fire yourself as the top producer to grow. And I know that that might seem a little scary. It's like, what do I do all day if I'm not producing? Some of you have a high sales acumen. You hire salespeople, you train them. But if you are the top producer, your time gets eaten up. There's no more time in the day. We have to figure out how to replicate you. You got to get out there. You got to have quarterly meetings with employees. Where are we at? Train them. You know how few agencies invest in training? You got to set the mission and the vision. Identify your customer experience. I know Sydney Rowe's going to talk about this. I mean, that video that was played by Abby, wasn't that fantastic about customer experience? It opened my eyes. I texted Sydney. I was like, yeah, I need that video like now. But your customer experience is so critical, guys. You have a product people don't want to buy. So you have to make it super cool. You have to make it exciting and fun. You have to identify that experience so that at the end of the day, when I leave you, I feel like I do when I leave my dentist office and I feel like I do when I leave my oil change. Didn't enjoy spending 80 bucks on an oil change, but really had a great experience. And for so many of us, we get stuck in ourselves, right? So whatever's easiest for us, we do. We don't respond to quote requests at 7 o'clock at night because I don't want to disrupt my personal time. People want to buy insurance at 7 o'clock at night. People are spending a lot of money to get those leads. You lose them. By the grace of God, they found you. We're not going to respond? Then we get into a situation, my two favorite customer experience blunders I think agencies could solve today if they had a vision to do it. One, we need to start quoting personal lines over the phone. Everybody stay in their seats. I've had people be like, no, I can't do that. There's no way, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, we got to figure it out. Because right now and today, if somebody wants to buy insurance, you let them off the phone, and it takes you 2 days to quote it, because it gets busy, this happens, so-and-so's house is on fire, my dog's sick, phone's ringing off the hook, all that stuff, you have lost that lead. And then we spend so much time quoting leads that have no opportunity to close at that point. You have to figure out, you can quote small commercial over the phone too, but it also goes into, you have to tell your team where you're going to pick your markets. This doesn't mean that we go through the rating software and spray it out to 12 people. We say if it's in the top 3, go put it here. It's tough, it takes some practice, but it has a higher lead conversion. The second biggest time suck in agencies is remarkets. We specialize in driving down the number of remarkets and increasing the closing ratio because you can track a remarket closing ratio in every management system. And it's amazing. In most agencies that hire us to do this, we find a 20% conversion rate on remarkets, which means that 2 out of 10 quotes actually move. That means if a remarket takes about an hour, that is 8 hours of wasted time. And then it snowballs. And here's the thing. Somebody calls up upset about their rates. First of all, we should stop, and our customer experience should be proactive, and we should be calling our customers before renewal, number one. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes agencies say, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. We launch proactive renewal strategies in a lot of agencies, and it's tough in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, but it breaks out to 5 calls a day on average in personal lines. Across the board, 5 phone calls a day, and you will talk to a third of those people. Okay? And you will find stuff on those accounts that you were like horrified about. So if you get proactive, that's fine, but then there's these people calling and say, my rates went up, my rates went up. Well, if you look at it and it justifies a remarket, why are we not remarketing that on the phone? Why are we leaving them off the phone? And then what? 2, 3, 4 days later, we call them back, I've got a rate. Or I love it, the CSR account manager will tell me, well, their renewal is not for like a month. They called you upset, they shop, they did this. You don't even bother remarketing them. They are gonna leave you. Your remarketing time needs to be quick. Because we all know it's easier to keep a customer than find a new one, right? So when we let a remarket sit 4 or 5 days out there, think about it, what would you do? You call in someplace. I was in an agency in Connecticut last Friday. I wish I had videotaped this. Guy comes in off the street. He goes, I have my policies here, I'd like to give them to you. I was like, are we being punked? What's the deal? He had 2 autos, a home, and an umbrella policy. Good, clean work. I go, sure, let me just ask you, how'd you find us? What's going on? What's the deal? He goes, my rates went up $800. I called my agent. He said he was gonna get back to me. That was 3 days ago. I haven't heard back from him. Yes, I'll take all those policies, thank you, and we move on. But you have to understand that those remarketings, and if you go back to your office, check out this, if producers, agent, whoever's selling insurance or remarketing, check to see if they have what I call the peacock effect. On their desk is these policies spread out like a peacock, and they're peacocking. They're like, every time about, look how busy I am. Look at all these quotes. I haven't gotten to that one in 5 days. I'm like, it's because you're reorganizing your quote piles, just quote it. But you'll see people like to peacock to prove how busy they are and how swamped they are, and it doesn't get the job done. But you have to be investigating technology. You need to be curious about insurance technology. Now, you might not love technology, it might not be your favorite thing to do, but dear Lord, there is some cool stuff out there today, right? There's some cool things. And you need to think about it. And every agency, at a minimum, I think you need to be looking at 2 technology upgrades every year. Maybe an upgrade is just doing something better in your current system, but you need to launch 2 technology initiatives every single year. Because people don't adopt and change that fast. So if you do them all at once, we get all excited. You guys go out there, you say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and then it doesn't go anywhere. Does that ever happen? Happens to me all the time. But if you're not on your project plan having 2 different technology upgrades every year, you're gonna fall behind the curve. And then you have to have accountability, execution, and innovation, okay? Accountability, one of the greatest words in insurance. Accountability. We let a lot of stuff slide. We don't have producers with great goals. If a producer doesn't hit his goals, it's like, try harder next time. Try harder. I was in a sales organization. It was not try harder. It was like, here's the door. We don't have time for that. So let's see here. Feedback loop. You got to create a culture of performance, okay? When performance means that when Tom Brady, because I'm from Rhode Island, so we're going to talk about the Patriots for a second, right? Do you think Tom Brady looks at Bill Belichick and goes, nah, I don't think I got that problem? Do you think Michael Phelps looks at his coach and says, nah, you're wrong? You have to crave feedback. It's not meant that people are doing a good job, it's just that in insurance, we don't give a lot of feedback. So when somebody gets feedback, all of a sudden it's like there's tears. There's lots of crying in some agencies. You start giving feedback and it's like, why are you mad at me? I'm not mad at you, we just need to be better, right? You also need to give 2-way feedback. So they should be able to tell you what they're struggling with you. Met a lot of agency owners in my life, haven't met anybody perfect yet. But maybe there's some things that you could do that help improve the situation. But your biggest investment is people, so we got to develop them. Really, when we do our agency assessment, we ask, how often have you invested in training your team? Only 20% of agencies in America invest in training. There are about 7 companies in America that do what we do, and there's 36,000 agencies in America. So either we're really busy, or we just as an industry don't invest enough in training. How to handle rate increases, how to close the deal, how to go prospect. Instead it's like, hey, it's insurance, just follow this guy. We don't have scripts. We don't go ahead and say, this is how we handle a renewal. This is how we handle somebody who's canceling. In your agency, you need to have a strong cancellation process. Somebody wants to call up and cancel? My favorite thing is, no problem, would you like me to send that via DocuSign? I'm happy to do that. Great, what's the best email for you? Thank you so much. You get back to me. I'll call you tomorrow if I don't see it. Then a new business comes in and it's like, you have a pit bull? Oh God. The one thing we've learned is that you have to coach people, not discipline them. You know, we have to coach people to get the best in them. The reality is, especially on the service side, that role has changed dramatically in 10 years. They were once assistants to agents, and now they are running multi-million-dollar books of business. And no one's ever taught them how to account round. No one's ever taught them how to ask for increases. They are by nature are people pleasers, right? They want to make the person on the other hand nurtured and happy and warm and fuzzy. And if I ask them for another policy, what if they say no? What if they say no? I've ruined my relationship. They're never going to want to talk to me again. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be salesy. So instead, we coil back and they just do the baseline job as opposed to stretching out of their comfort zone. But what we find is when we retrain CSRs or account managers to think, we got to educate people. No means not right now, right? And if we don't tell them that they need an umbrella policy, who's going to? If we don't talk to them about life insurance and something happens to them, God forbid today, whose head is that on? If I have an E&O claim because you don't talk about it, what's the problem? They don't think like that. We think about this person and being pushy and staying in our comfort zone. So you got to coach them out of that. Because team members want structure. In our agency assessments, it's amazing. Biggest thing people want is structure. I want to know what a good job is. If I can have more structure, that would be great. I want to know what my priority is today. I get all this stuff flying around at me. What's my biggest priority? And in agencies, we don't do a great job at giving that. And the biggest thing on the feedback loop is we have to outlast the suck. Pardon my French. You guys know that as an adult, the hardest thing is change, right? Especially the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, I'm just so comfortable here. Why would I want to go on Twitter and learn Twitter? I downloaded Periscope the other day. I was like, I'm not 12. I don't understand. I got to figure this out. But now Twitter and Periscope have this thing, and you got to deal with it. But you have to outlast the suck when you're talking about your agency. So anything worth it is going to have pain associated with it, which is why not everybody does it. Ever try to go back to the gym after not working out for a year? Ooh. That's motivation enough to keep going. But anything worth it, there's going to be pushback. There's going to be fear. There's going to be uncertainty. There's going to be doubt. There's going to be tough times. There's going to be a lot. However, at the end of the day, if we don't push through to get to the next level, the world's going to keep changing around us, and it's going to force our hand. When we're forced to change, the change is far harder. How many of you guys are in AMS? Anybody? Vertifor? So, do you guys remember when you had to switch from classic view to next gen? Like, I had literally had people be like, if I have to go to next gen, I'm quitting. I was like, are you serious? You had like 4 years to learn it. But we don't like change, and we have to outlast the suck. Once we get through the suck, everything's better. One of our strategies is we poll agencies 6 months after we launch a new strategy. We say, would you go back to the way you were doing it? No. What was the hardest part about doing it? Changing. What would you tell other CSRs in your position? Just outlast the suck. It's worth it. But we get scared, so we do something and then we don't get the result we want, and we back right away from it. Didn't work. Didn't work. Talked to an agency owner the other day. He was calling lost business, try to win it back. He said, we didn't get anything out of it. That doesn't work. I said, how'd you do it? Want to try different? Tried different. Now he's got it. He's like, well, that's pretty cool. I didn't try hard enough. I didn't try and refine it. Goal setting with incentive plans. We got to do this. You need to set and communicate goals, okay? They have to be communicated, and they should be somewhere displayed like a big billboard, right? This is our goals. If you actually go online or on our website, we have a store, and you can actually get a thermometer that you can stick on your wall and color it in. It's pretty cool. But you have to set goals and communicate them, because if you don't communicate them, everything's inside. So some agency owners are like, I don't want them to know about the revenue goal. I don't want them to know that. So put a premium goal. Put a policy count. There's a million different ways to do it. Retention, new business, and one project should be your quarterly goals. So how much do we want to hit for retention? What's our retention rate we want to hit? By the way, 90% still means you lose 10% of your business every year. okay? And here's one trick. I've had this conversation 3 times this week. Retention is retention. It is not the retention you can control. So typically when you start charting retention and telling people about it, it's like, well, this person moved, this person passed away, this person did this. I have actually 100% retention. It's like, no. That's why we don't set retention at 100%. We set retention at 92%, 93%, because there are uncontrollables. New business, we have to set a new business goal, okay? Here's the deal. Just take like a 10% increase over what you did last quarter. So if you wrote 50,000, try to write 55,000. Don't go chasing waterfalls, right? So if some other agency is like, we write $250,000 in premium this quarter, and you did 50, you're not going to hit that. Start baby stepping up to get people out of it. Just take a little bit more than you had, and if you do that enough, guess what happens? Good stuff starts happening. And there's got to be one special project. And this always amazes me. So we hit the retention rate, the new business, and the special project always gets people. So a special project could be like cleaning up your management system. Could be getting a certain number of emails. Could be launching a referral program and getting a certain number of referrals. It's something that in your agency bothers you, that you want to get done, that you feel like you say over and over and over again needs to get done and doesn't. So when you put a monetary bonus on it, it's amazing how things get done. We just closed the quarter in my company, and we always have a special project. I swear on Monday, I had to laugh for about 10 minutes. They were buzzing around trying to get their special project done. I looked at them, I go, you had freaking 12 weeks to get the special project done. You're coming down to the 11th week. We had a little training on planning. Set clear strategy for success. So just because you set a goal, you as the leader need to set the plan. How are we going to get there? Too often we get into a team meeting, we get everybody excited, we're going to hit this goal. Great, now go to it, guys. I'm going to the golf course. No, it's how are we going to do this? So in order to hit this retention goal, we're going to start sending out nurturing emails to our customers. We're going to start doing these proactive renewal calls. This is what we're going to ask for referrals. That boosts retention. We've got a new account rounding script we want you to use. You have to be specific and say, to get this, this is what I need you to do. Because it's not up to them to do that. That's up to you as the business owner to set the strategy and help them execute it. But just saying, hit this number, we're not all equipped like that. Never give time off as an incentive, right? Never ever give time off as an incentive. So everybody says, oh, time off, time off. It is a disaster in a small business to start giving days off. You will get into a scheduling nightmare, and then everybody's too busy to get the job done as is, so how is time off going to help solve that, right? Do not do it. Resist the urge. And sometimes people then walk around with like 3, 4 extra days off during the whole year. That's a lot of money out of your pocket, by the way. So think about time off selectively. And then there should be group versus individual goals. Producer goals should be individual. Service goals, try to stick to a team goal. They don't want to let their buddies down. I have seen whole crews of account managers, mostly women, that will rally together if they knew somebody's kid needs to go to soccer camp. And there's a bonus on the table. It's like, we're going to get there. Your kid's going to soccer camp. And it's like, it's amazing to me. But you should really think about how to set your goals. Agency technology. Got to embrace it, guys. It's not going away, and in fact, it's the only way we're going to survive. It's the only way we're going to survive. Do you know that most people prefer to be contacted via text message or email? So if we keep going back to traditional methods like letters, we're going to be dying. You can decide, do you want to have more people or better processes? Who here wants to hire more people? Who here would rather have better processes? Right? There's a lot of inefficiencies in agencies that we can embrace and take home with us. So if we're remarketing, our 5 days out, we're wasting our time. Okay? Some of them will hit, but most of them won't. That's hours of time that you could catch up on. If we're not proactive, we're wasting our time being reactive. And then all of a sudden we're scrambling. But you know what the biggest time suck in agencies? Fixing mistakes. Sitting on the phone with an underwriter for an hour trying to fix a mistake because now you've heard it from the agency owner, you've heard it from the producer, you've heard it from the client, now you got to go fix it. Hours of time. If we just did the right job at the right time, we could avoid that. But we spend hours fixing mistakes that should have never been made. So let's talk about time management from that perspective. But if you have better processes, you win. You know those guys in the pink I showed you at the front? So when I met them a couple years ago, they said the agency owner was about ready to hire another person. I said, don't. We worked with them to get proactive on renewal calls. They have now gone down a half a person. And the staff says that they feel better about their job and more efficient every day. Because they're not putting out fires every day. You know, if you're sitting around running around putting out fires and you're getting pumped with the price bullet from your customers because you're not proactive, that's exhausting. That leads to a lot of mistakes. That doesn't lead to job happiness, right? But when we're getting out to talk to people, talking to them about their kids, about their vacations, we're able to move people around inside their current company. That is where real success happens. But you got to get involved in technology. Think about email, text, apps, management systems, proposal softwares. If any of you guys are looking for a great app, I know Matt's here in the back somewhere. He was. There he is in the back. If you guys are looking for an app, you know how to be proactive, push notifications. What if there's a hurricane that hits? What are we going to do? How are we going to communicate to people? We don't think about that until a natural disaster happens. And then we have all these great plans for the next time. Let's think about it before. Have a project plan for rolling out anything new. Whenever I come from I worked 5 years at an insurance technology company, and I was always amazed. The owner got sold on technology. Straight sold. Like, this is going to revolutionize everything. And the owner never thought about the plan to roll it out. So we got involved, and we'd be rolling out, be like, yeah, no, I'm going on vacation on this day, and this, and it's like, we need a plan to roll out things. You need to set expectations. We purchased a very robust piece of software last year, and I would say that we are on target, but we're only 50% of maximizing it, because that was our plan. Do one section at a time and do it awesome, and go on to the next one, go on to the next one. But I don't need to buy 75 different tools to make up for it when I have one that does it. We're just on track and on plan. And if we maximize our technology, my investment becomes so much more powerful. Consistent training. Okay, it's more than CE credits. Training your staff is important. We need to train them. How about how to handle a rate increase? How many of the agencies in the room, show of hands, have a consistent script that's followed every single time on how to handle a rate increase? How many times do you sometimes walk by people and you're like, I wish they didn't say that? As part of my job at the technology company, we recorded inbound insurance phone calls similar to what Trusted Choice did. 2-drink minimum to listen to them. I remember one going, 2 of my favorites were, 3 of my favorites actually. Somebody was looking up the policy and she goes, wow, your insurance is really expensive. It's like, oh gosh. Woohoo! Another one, agency owner takes a quote call, never introduces himself. Doesn't even say his name. Because we just get so involved in the blocking and tackling, right? But my favorite was, guy calls up, literally needing to buy a policy right away. He had just purchased some additional tools or something. I can't remember exactly. Calls up and he goes, the person fills a phone call and goes, oh, the person you need to talk to isn't in right now. And he goes, you're the 4th agency I've called trying to buy insurance today that has told me I cannot buy insurance. She goes, can I take a message? I was like, no, the best part was that the agency owner was sitting right in his office, not on the phone. And I said, what happened? She goes, I didn't want to bother him. But you don't hear it until afterwards, right? Like if you start listening to phone calls, we could all catch stuff that we do, you know, that could be better. But they should have a customer experience. We should have training on sales, right? Everybody in insurance is in sales. Not everybody is gifted at sales. I was not a naturally born salesperson. I have to work my butt off at it. I read, I watch videos, I continuously do it. And I've settled myself, I'm not a salesperson, I'm an educator. And if you believe in what I'm educating on, you're gonna come on my team, right? Marketing strategy, teamwork. To be the best, you must train, okay? Michael Jordan still practices free throws, right? Michael Phelps probably in the swimming pool somewhere. They don't give up. They don't say, oh, I'm the best, I've got gold medals. They train. When we train, and because so many things are changing outside in the insurance world, we gotta train. Marketing and branding, okay. This is the cool part. I don't know how to express to everybody in this room enough that every agency needs a marketing strategy and, more importantly, a brand. Now, brand is very complicated to explain, but I wish I had a Sydney Rowe video right now. But the deal is this, is that I have to come into experiencing you from whether it's your business card, your website, a brochure, or meeting you in person and have an instantaneous reaction that I have found a home for my insurance. So when I go to your website, and all your website does is tell me you've been in business for 100 years and you shop 1,800 carriers, and there's pictures of 4 guys that are, 70 years old in suits on the cover, it doesn't speak to me, I'm sorry. It might be something you're really proud of, but it's not speaking to me. I have 15 insurance policies. I spend tens of thousands of dollars a year in insurance, okay? That's not gonna get the job done for me. If I go and I meet your producers out in a networking event and they're in the corner and they're doing this on their cell phone, do you think I'm psyched? I'm like, yeah, I want to do my business with you. No. Your brand is everything. Our brand colors are black and gold. There's a reason I'm wearing black and gold. There is a reason why I've handed you my picture right there. More importantly, there's a reason I show you my dog up front so you know I'm a real person. I'm not like an insurance robot. But you need to have a brand. And all your brand needs to do is say, why should I buy insurance from you? Tell me, why should I buy insurance from you? There's 100 people in this room that I could buy insurance from. I could go online, make it super easy in my jammy jams. Why should I buy it from you? And you gotta not use, we give great service. I've met one agency that says, we absolutely give mediocre service. I'm like, at least you owned it. We give great service, what does that mean? Okay, because I'm gonna tell you what my version of great service is. I need to be able to text you at 11 o'clock at night as I'm running through an airport and tell you that my husband bought another car. And I need you to take that and run with it. And I need you to understand that when you screw up and my unit number on my workers' comp bill doesn't get to me, that you're gonna call me, because that's not my fault. And I need you to understand that I need a thorough review every year to make sure that we're protecting what's important to me, and that you're going to recommend to me that I need disability insurance. But you have to speak to me, because it all starts at the attraction phase. And one of the best things you can think about is if your agency was going to go on Match.com, how would you pretty it up? Because that's what the internet is. It's one big old Match.com for your business. And that's what your business card is. If your business card is crappy, throw it away. Stop being cheap with business cards. It's the only thing that you hand out. Go buy expensive business cards, something that you're proud of, something that sticks out that says, this guy's cool, because there's a dime a dozen for insurance agents. You can't use price or service, and you have to make your agency special for prospects. You have to identify what's important to growing families, what's important to millennials, and how are we going to serve them. Because I'll tell you what, most of your hours of operation are completely opposite of serving a growing family. Closed at lunch, love that. Still agencies do that. Closed at 4 o'clock. Not open on Saturdays. Producers who won't take leads at 7 o'clock at night. Ridiculous. You gotta be who you'd want to do business with. It's a small expense when you provide a service. The only thing that they have is a freaking policy like this, and the carrier that's gonna put their logo in front of your customer as much as they can. And I'm gonna tell you this, EFT has changed your industry for the better and worse. Every month they see the company name coming out of their bank account. They don't see your name. How often do you look in your bank account? Because we got to figure out our target markets. Who do you want to write? Don't waste time on the people you don't want to write. My brother will have insurance for a couple days and cancel it. Don't write his insurance. Okay? Don't. How are you going to serve them better? Your customer experience has to be designed to serve them better. Again, if you want to write a growing family, maybe you need to have a little playroom in your office. Maybe you need to have your office designed with pictures of your kids, even if they were younger. Maybe your marketing needs to have your children in it. Say we specialize in writing families and protecting what they love. But you have to know, we can't just be vanilla. You got to figure out where they hang out. Where are these people that you want to write? If you want to write small business owners, you got to get involved in the small business community. You want to write growing families, you better sponsor the soccer teams. And you better be there with a little booth. You want to do that? Go to the farmer's market and hand out bags with your name on it. Go meet people. What is their life like? What are the pain points you're trying to solve? And if you can solve them, great. But tell them that. This is how I'm going to make your life easier. I know you don't want to buy insurance. You're going to want to buy it from me. What's important to them? It's not about you. It's about them. That's where the customer experience is. It's about them. So I think, how are we doing on time? We're done? 1 minute. Oh, I did good because I always go over. So we just got to remember that we're always going to be Tiggers, right? You're going to bounce around. You're going to take all this information, you're going to download the presentation, you're going to bounce around, you're going to think that everything's awesome. We got to move ourselves away from the Eeyore mentality, right? Because Eeyores don't get ahead in life. Only Tiggers do. We have a little special. It's on the postcards if you guys want to work with us. We do work with agencies all over the country, which is pretty cool. And I appreciate you guys coming in here. I'm around. I'm doing the next session as well, so you can kind of come out and hang out. Sorry we didn't have much time for questions, but I will be here tonight, tomorrow, so if you need something, come find me. And hopefully you guys all connected with us on social media. So we made a lot of money for the Stand Down program. So thanks, guys.